Hey, it's Debbie.
And James.
Giving you a bit of an energy update. We haven't done one for some time for our Rezinate community. So this is our version of giving you a bit of an energy update. So let's kick in. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is we are in a very interesting time in the world at the moment where there's a lot of fighting coming from the outside. There's wars going on. There's a lot of grittiness happening in the everyday world. And James and I have a bit of a laugh that if you didn't have a spiritual connection here and have something greater to connect to, it might be a bit of a weird, destructive time. And in fact, you might be a bit dysfunctional if you're loving the world at the moment in all of its chaos, unless you have this deep, beautiful spiritual connection. And, what does that really mean when the world, acts out and the macro gets really tricky? It's basically a form of looking within, because the micro and the macro mirror each other. So if the outer world is gritty and difficult, what's gritty and difficult and fighting within you? Because there's something going on in there, isn't there, James?
It sure is, yeah.
And we do sometimes have a bit of a grind, and at the time that we feel a bit gritty or that life is a bit of a grind, that is the perfect opportunity to pivot and to look at what we're working through, what our inner fight is, and choose to start to deal with that and to possibly let it go, death it, and give it a bit of a release, which is why we are doing our standard end of year ceremony that Rezinate does every year to wind up the year that was and to rebirth and start a new year that is lighter and fresher and cleaner. And James, the law of equal opposites is playing out at the moment.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one because as so many people are reporting that they're just feeling this, kind of an oppression from the outside world. The world of effect feels quite dense, quite thick, quite heavy. A lot of stuff's coming up for them. They're feeling held back, maybe a bit overwhelmed. And as we're hitting that tipping point, there's always that balance. So as things are feeling more crunch from the outside, coming outside in, the law of equal opposites says that the inside is going to waken up and lighten up. And so what this means, as it gets heavier and more dense, inside people are going to feel lighter and brighter, and they're going to awaken even more. So no matter how much maybe, the dark side seems to push within and try and compress and oppress, it does nothing but awaken people on the inside, which is what we want around the world. We want people waking up and remembering what they are so that they can start to change their reality, and then we'll start to see the outside because the inside changes first. What does they say? You have to smile first before the mirror smiles back. So we want
everyone. This is a mirror of what's going on inside.
Exactly, yeah. So if we can do that, it's going to make a big difference on the outside world. So we have to change ourselves first before we want to see something different on the outside.
Yeah. And we are going through, astrologically, we always go through different transits and times, and each person has their own unique inner journey, but there is a Saturn entering Pisces phase, which really means that there is a long-term global shift toward intuition and faith, but also accelerating technological and social progress as well, which, we've seen the birthing of AI and technology advancements. And as that goes one way, AI technology grows, this aspect is saying also that our intuition and faith must grow and that our connection must grow. So when we have this interesting balance between AI and tech and our natural intelligence and our spirit, and I would say anyone in a spiritual career right now, there's a best opportunity to actually really bring that out in a strong effect into the world so that you can actually balance this offset of technology.
Yeah, natural intelligence is so important because it's going to help more than ever. We're going to need this balancing effect to keep us grounded and balancing the energies that have kept humans happy and healthy for millions of years. The artificial intelligence coming about is new, and it has a different resonance and vibration that we need to, it's coming, it's going to be part of our future, but we need to balance that out. So it's now even more important than ever before to spend time in nature, to ground, and to come back to your natural intelligence, which is really interesting because at the same time, as Debbie said, as the AI is coming, there's a big energetic astrological push to get us back into spirituality and faith. And hence what we call spiritual intelligence. It's so important to build that spiritual connection to yourself and to the natural energies of the earth, the sun, and this universal intelligence that we're all made up of. And so it's such a big opportunity for us all moving forward, but also giving AI its dues, its respect, using it as a powerful tool to help you with your creativity, your ideas that come from your intuition, your spirit, not giving all your power and your outsourcing away to this artificial intelligence, still being able to think for yourself and build these incredible creative ideas, these intuitive knowingnesses that you'll be able to have if you're working on your intuition and your internal gifts.
And let's face it, those ideas that come from our intuition and our spirit are always so much richer than anything that we can type into a computer screen. So just remember how creative and powerful and amazing you are. And we kind of wanted to leave you with our final energy tips. You know, this comes up a lot in sessions. It comes up in my coaching class. It comes up all the time around how too many of us are taking responsibility for other people's feelings. And so, you know, it's not my responsibility to manage your awkward feelings is one of my favorite sayings in my course. And I think the reason why that's so critical is, you know, when we're finally speaking up, when we're getting our needs met, when we're setting our boundaries, saying no, when we finally do that as an individual and we have that courage to do that with another, what we don't want to do is slip into this needing to make it okay for them or trying to manage or soothe the other person when you've spoken your truth. So yeah, not taking responsibility for other people's gritty feelings is one of the best things that you could teach yourself.
Yeah, in a world where there's so much going on, it's really important, backing that up, is to work out what is your problem to solve and what is not. Because I think a lot of us, we're trying to solve other people's problems, as Deb was just saying. And so working out what that is and what that isn't, taking your power back, having some boundaries, learning how to say no is so important at this time. Really managing your energy, having that internal time.
And not just with your family and friends and co-workers, but also worldwide.
Totally.
I think a lot of us bounce right out of ourselves and start to worry and project and solve problems that are too far away. And that only leads to an inner chaos. And as we discussed, as James said before, the more that your inner world is scattered, the more the outer world will just reflect that. So, yeah. Thanks for listening. That's our energy update.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy.